Hello and welcome to Fox Footy's special presentation of the Australian Football International Cup for 2005. This is the second time this competition has been run, and for the second time the Papua New Guinea team finds themselves in the final. They were defeated by Ireland in 2002. This time they come up against New Zealand, and I'm joined by a man who hails from that country and played over 280 AFL games, Wayne Schwass, and now Fox Footy commentator Schwatter. We're used to seeing the Kiwis playing as the All Blacks, but they find themselves in the final of the International Cup.
Yeah, we are. It's a tremendous thrill, I must admit, and who would have thought where the next Ty Kennelly might come from. It's a terrific story, Ty, but we might find another international star come from one of these two nations, so it's a great opportunity for those players involved.
And I'm also joined by the AFL's national talent manager, used to watching him through the under-18 competition in this country, but he's been keeping a close eye on all the nations. And Kevin, it's just been a terrific competition with 10 nations, and we've seen some terrific talent on display.
Oh, Matty, yes, 30 games over the last 10 days. They've even travelled to country Victoria to Wangaratta to play. Well, there's a crowd of 5,000 having a look, and they've enjoyed the skill level and the competitive nature of these players. Remember that they've all been brought up on the game in their own country, so there's no expats playing in this.
Yes, we should remember there are no expats. They're all amateurs that do reside and are national citizens for their country. Both teams have arrived at this final undefeated, so we're expecting a very good game as we take a look at the road to the grand final. The Mosquitoes for Papua New Guinea, and they've had some tight games earlier on, Kevin, Samoa and Canada, but got things going against Great Britain.
Oh, yes, and they play a terrific game, a very instinctive play-on type game. Their average winning margin has only been 17 points, so I suppose time will tell whether those close results are going to help them tonight or not. And
they did get some revenge against Ireland, who defeated them in the 2002 final, and Ireland were favourites for this competition.
Yes, had a large turnover in players, Ireland. I think about 8 or 10 had returned from 2002, and they played some terrific aggressive footy. They've got some big boys there from Ireland that have come out, and most of those have got a Gaelic footy background, of course, and their big challenge then was to convert to the oval ball.
The New Zealand Falcons have been a little bit more impressive on their road through to the grand final. Some very comfortable margins, and Wayne, right through, they always were on the money and defeated the USA in the semi-final by 32 points.
Yeah, look, they've been very strong, and I guess that they've got a number of teams in their competitions over in New Zealand, Kevin, that I guess they've really developed and they've grasped the concept, and it's quite ironic that a few years back when I first started out, this game was laughable in New Zealand, but now they've embraced it. And there's some exciting players that are running around with a fair bit of skill too, Kevin.
Yes, they've taken all before them, New Zealand, average winning margin of 62 points. So I suppose that's the point. They haven't really been challenged in a close one. They've been well structured and prepared. Their preparation has been something akin to a professional unit in the way that they've even stretched up before games, straight to the pool after matches, have certainly been on their best behaviour with looking after what they eat and drink over the course of 10 days. They're certainly here to win.
And we take a look at the two teams. First up, Papua New Guinea, and some players to watch. Number 27, Kevin, Navu Maha, won the medal for the best player in the competition, and also Avera Gibson, a very good player.
Yes, and another one to look for would be Alistair Sione, who spent 5 months training with the Brisbane Lions. Just a 20-year-old, very athletic type, will play up as a key forward. Well worth looking at. Rexy Lecker, of course, the captain of the side, was best on the ground in this grand final 3 years ago. He's really been a legend in PNG AFL footy for a number of years.
Number 30, Stanley Tapend, also making the All-Stars selection. So they've had 4 of their players selected in the All-Stars. As we turn our attention to the New Zealand side, some All-Stars there as well. In particular, their captain, number 9, Andrew Congleton, a very accomplished player.
Yes, in fact, Andrew came across with an under-21 New Zealand side just about 4 years ago and learnt the game at that stage. And one of his teammates was a guy called Nick Evans, who was wanting to play AFL at the highest level. He's ended up playing half a dozen games for the All Blacks, so a very talented athlete that could have probably gone either way. So Nick Evans and Andrew Congleton represent the real pioneers of the game in the modern era from New Zealand.
And number 11, James Bennett, he has the hair similar to Jason Ackermanis, so he's easy to spot, but he's a little bit larger than Jason Ackermanis. So, and Wayne, they're out on the MCG. What a great thrill. I mean, they've travelled to Wangaratta, as Kevin mentioned, but it's the curtain raiser of the Carlton-Collingwood game. They're at the home of football. What a thrill.
Well, Wangaratta to Melbourne, there'll be one game they'll certainly remember. This will be a thrill that they'll remember for the rest of their lives, and I'm sure that they'll tell their stories in years to come.
The final of the Australian Football International Cup, 4 15-minute quarters. The New Zealand Falcons up against the Papua New Guinea Mosquitoes. Can Papua New Guinea get some revenge for their defeat to Ireland 3 years ago in 2002? Although looking at the form, the Kiwis deserve to be favourites. Our umpires, Kevin, for this match.
Yes, in fact, we've got an American umpire here, Jeff Pearson from the USA, along with a couple of Victorians in Rob O'Gorman and Josh Krull.
We're set to go. A big occasion for these two countries. Plenty to play for. And a big jump to start the game from Doragori from Papua New Guinea right over the top. And they're heading forward now, but in the way for New Zealand is their vice-captain, Jason Pocock. He drives them forward for the first time. Going back, Lagisa got rid of Bowden. Then he's caught. Doragori went back to help him out. And the Mosquitoes into attack. And driving through there was Junior Aria. And we'll have our first boundary throw-in. And it's just inside the attacking zone for the Papua New Guinea team.
One of the great abilities, of course, in the AFL game is that speed and change of direction, and the boys from PNG have got all of that. A wonderful sidestep will be seen right throughout the game, I'm sure.
Good shepherd there by PNG. Players willing from both sides, and we'll have a bounce just inside the boundary line. Great southern stand side of the ground. There's plenty of run in those legs though, Kevin.
Well, we hope there is. I think it's going to go down to that. They've played 6 games.
It's a big week, isn't it?
They're 1 hour games, 4x15s, but still you're lining up every second day, and there's no doubt it will take its toll at some stage, but they have 6 on the bench and can rotate.
Just inside the first minute, New Zealand with the first free kick. It's a long ball towards Bowden. Couldn't take the chest mark. Opposing number 11, Avertius gets a handball. Bowden goes again. Can he keep it inside the boundary line? He does. Good play. The Falcons, they go forward again. Danks hurriedly onto the boot. It's a high ball. New Zealand in the best position. Didn't take the mark, but he wins himself a free kick against Bradley. No, sorry, to Bradley. Goes inside forward 50. Good lead. Strong mark to number 15, Craig Ashton. Tell us a little bit about him, Kevin.
Yeah, had a terrific week, actually. Ended up the leading goal kicker, equal with Bowden. Kicked a couple of bags of 4. Quite a talented tennis player, so a good all-round athlete. I think he'd spent some time in the States on a scholarship through tennis, but he showed terrific courage in the air for a lightly framed guy, as you see there, and the way he went about his footy all week, and was generally a good kick.
Well, let's hope you don't put the Moz on him. They're against the Mosquitoes, and it's bitten. The first score in the 2005 International Cup goes to New Zealand, courtesy of the boot of Craig Ashton. The New Zealand side, they're on the board, they're 1 behind, they lead. PNG yet to score.
The Mozzies, yes, nice work. Ashton kicked 4 goals in the semi-final against USA, but not to be that time. Bowden was rising over the top, coming through Avertius once again. Now, working hard is Joseph Eiler. And he's getting some help again. It's Aria, who just couldn't quite keep it in for Papua New Guinea. We'll have another boundary throw-in.
And Joseph Eiler is the son of the coach, Trevor Eiler, that I did listen in the other day, and he said to use every square inch of the MCG. That was after they'd won their semi-final. He said, we're going to go to that famous ground and we're going to use every square inch of it. So I think they play wide and use their run and their leg speed.
Danks won the knock, got it down to McCarley. Eventually it ended up with Bowden. This is Bradley once again trying to bust through the tackle of Nava Maha. Eventually they work it out through Yangamina. Here's a chance for Everson. Working hard. They've got some numbers back here. Jeffrey Thomas measures the kick nicely, and that's a good take out in front. He's very easy to spot is Andrew Marsden. Making a statement with the hair.
Well, it's a big occasion. It requires a big haircut. That's certainly one.
And he's just shorted again to McCarley, who takes it on centre wing for New Zealand. Been very good in their games, as we mentioned. Big margins getting through to this final. Went in as favourites. Crumbing front and square, gunning, trying to force it forward. In the way was Arca. Now out in front, and here's Gibson. Does take a very good mark. Gibson hits it long. New Zealand with the numbers. And Bevan Morris was standing in the way. Takes a nice mark for New Zealand.
Early stages, first quarter, some great skills shown by both sides. New Zealand, cross half back, goes short towards Marsden. Too much on the kick and we'll have a throw in just in front of the interchange races.
One thing I've noticed, Kevin, just in the first few minutes, we did the final a few years ago, the skill level has risen in that 3 years in the second time this competition's been run.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, and that just comes from experience. The conditions are tough. It's a little bit slippery out there. It's a big stage. They know that although we can't see a lot of the crowd on the screen, they are tucked up in the stands. There's quite a few thousand people here having a look, so nerves do creep into it. But yes, we've been very impressed by the improved skill level across the 10 teams in the competition.
Terrific tackle by Desmond Carmoot. Goes towards centre half forward. Good spoil, New Zealand. Play continues. They've got some numbers, the Falcons. They go out wide to the skipper, Congolton. Heads down towards half forward. The ball wins the race and we'll have a throw in. Left half forward flank. Members side of the ground at the MCG. What a thrill for both of these sides. PNG, they've been here once before. New Zealand for the first time playing off in a grand final in the International Cup of the MCG.
Boundary throw in, and there's the skipper once again, Congolton, picked in the All-Star side. Had a terrific carnival, but this time they go forward, and Junior Henry in the way for Papua New Guinea for the Mosquitoes. Henry, again, Gibson the target, provides, he's presenting well. He's covering some ground too. He's starting on the half-forward line, then running through the middle. Not happy with the man of the mark at the moment, Gibson.
Bigger Varia's had a lot of experience in footy. Played in Cairns, he's played at Cooperoo up in Queensland, and every bit of that experience will be needed tonight because they are very young as a team, the PNG boys.
Gibson from Cooperoo. There's another player, Michael Gibson, who went to Brisbane and actually enjoyed playing against you, Wayne, a couple of times.
He might have enjoyed it. I certainly didn't. But that's another story, Matthew.
This is Junior Henry once again. Got some pace and some confidence. On the ground, he wanted Sione, but Dank's in the way for New Zealand. High ball, there's Bowden, good take. Over the top of Gibson. A lot to like about James Bowden. Drop punt, gets enough on it. The great courage there shown by Maha going back, and the medalist takes the free kick and plays on immediately.
Heads straight up the middle of the ground, and that's a good kick. On the second attempt, that's a good strong mark. He doesn't waste any time. PNG, they'll go forward. Plenty of run. Decides to go it alone. Kick won't hit its target. And New Zealand, again, with plenty of numbers across half-back. They get it over to Everson, as Matty said, one of the vice-captains, to Marsden. He's found the ball a couple of times early stages, first quarter. The captain, Congolton, handball towards the boundary line. Marsden followed up his good work, won't get there first though. Leaves it for a teammate, and that's a good tackle. Ball spills free. And number 10 for PNG, Yangamini, sees the ball out of bounds. We'll have a throw in front of the New Zealand benches.
Scoring hard at the moment. There you see the New Zealand bench, as Kevin mentioned. 6 interchange for this final, but it's just the one behind to New Zealand. Bradley in the ruck with Doragori over the top. Marsden playing very well early. Bowden the target at centre half forward, right with him Henry. Going back Maha, coming off his half-back flank to help out. Lecker came through to provide the shepherd, but just missed. Danks. Going through hard was Isla once again. Not going too far there is Rickard Penny. Umpire letting it go. That's good umpiring. Waiting for some clean possession. It finally comes for Papua New Guinea. Avertius out wide. Got a player to kick to just over the top of Tapend. McLennan did well. In the back, surely. That'll be a free kick to New Zealand. And it'll be taken by Gunning as he gets it out wide. And Bowden will mark inside 50. The distance will test. He'll have to kick from right on his forward 50-metre line. He's lining up. We've got just inside 7 minutes of this first quarter. He's lining up for the first goal for New Zealand, the Falcons.
And James Bowden comes from the Eastern Blues Club, which is down in Christchurch, your home territory, Swatter, one of the 3 major centres where they play the game.
Bowden's kick will go short, right on the line. Now, going through was Doragori. Didn't take the mark. Avertius did. Here's a chance now. Can New Zealand do something here? Doragori weren't going through. Second effort is good. Lovely tackle, though, from Ashton. To Penn. Got it over once again. Isla. Good to by the New Zealand forwards. They may get a shot on goal here. Congolton, the skipper, straightens up. 45 metres out. Hits it long. Very long indeed, but it's just to the right. So the second score of the game goes to New Zealand. And Wayne, terrific forward pressure. We talk about that in the AFL every week. If you can keep the forward pressure inside your forward 50, the error will come, the turnover will come, and you get another shot back on goal.
I guess it's refreshing. We expect that so much in our own game here at AFL level, but this is an international game played between two countries that have only recently adopted the game. But look, that's terrific pressure there by New Zealand. Unfortunately, this man on screen, the skipper, Galton, couldn't convert the opportunity, but he has another go. Goes short towards a teammate in gunning, couldn't take the mark. Here go the Mosquitoes, quick by foot. They head out wide through the middle of the ground. They've got a couple of numbers. They need a kind bounce. Gibson couldn't get it. But for number 5, Pocock for the Falcons. Heads out towards this man at the moment. He's everywhere. Is Bowden. Couldn't take the ball. And for PNG, Isla's had a fair bit of it himself, and there's a whistle on play. He should win himself a free kick for a push in the back.
And just back to Galton, Andrew Galton has been very impressive hurling. Number 9, the captain of New Zealand. He in fact come across to a camp at one stage in the late 90s with 17-year-old Joel Corey, Josh Fraser, Ryan Houlihan. Had 5 days living in with those guys and come up and recalled that particular week with me during the week and just said it was just so wonderful to get that experience. And no doubt in the years to come there'll be many more Galtons given those sorts of opportunities to simply really can't get another Wayne Swass or Fred Crode or someone like that out of that country, but someone that has probably first experienced the game over in New Zealand, then to get them across to get them to take the next step.
And Pioneer is on the way, and certainly what we're seeing so far from the Falcons, and it's not too far around the corner. Penn's kick went long. Thomas underneath it for New Zealand. Going through his Yangamina's, kept it alive. Good handball out wide, over the top. Livuana, and that's the first goal. That is the first goal for the International Cup final, and it goes to Dominic Livuana from Papua New Guinea. And aren't they pumped? And they're very happy about that. And they've got the first score, and they lead New Zealand by 4 points. Good work here by Yangamina. Kept it going, kept it moving forward. And the finish, just what Livuana, a man from Daru in the Western Province, will be very pleased with.
And just a youngster too, at 20 years of age. We mentioned how young they were, but we've even got, if you look for Paul Phillip, who will wear number 15. He's only a 16-year-old, so a very young side, and that was a terrific goal to get them started.
PNG on the board with their first major. They lead New Zealand by 4 points, and there's the Kiwi skipper. Galton doesn't waste any time. Heads out towards Danks. Too far from goal, so he lays off a nice handball to the runner in stick. Loads up from outside 50. That's a long ball coming back. Does it have the carry? I think it might do. He signals it does. And the Falcons celebrate, courtesy of that man there. Signals to his crowd supporters at the MCG. The Kiwis are on the board with their first major.
And a terrific passage of play, wasn't it? That could be at any level, any fairly high level of football, where the running player coming past stick, in fact, coming from half back. And doesn't he celebrate the goal? He has given it the full circle, indicating that was a great finish from him, from virtually on the 50-metre mark.
A wonderful finish, and certainly the celebration to go along with it was deserved. The Kiwis are back in front by 2 points. Papua New Guinea moving into attack. Sione couldn't quite take it. He's appealing for a deliberate free kick off the hands of Jason Everson, but it won't be. It'll be a boundary throw-in. With just under 2.5 minutes remaining in this first quarter, we're in for a tight game, just a 2-point margin, and a desperation there from Everson just to see it over the line. Just on the forward 50. Gibson went without it. Nice work here by the Falcons. Marsden has been released, if he can just take it cleanly. Couldn't do so. Bradley also there. It's a big fella, Bradley. And the tackle was ruled to be too high. And eventually, Stanley Tapen kicks it ahead, looking for Sione. Alistair Sione, also one of the All-Stars. He's kicked some goals in this carnival. Heads long. Gibson the target. New Zealand with the numbers though. Thomas wants the boundary, finds it, and we'll have another boundary thrown. So the New Zealand defence holding firm.
And Alistair Sione's idol, of course, is Mel Michael. Who else but Mel Michael?
Why wouldn't it be?
And born and bred, of course, in New Guinea, learnt his football in the majority over here at Collingwood and with Brisbane, and now is putting some terrific time back in to promote the game up in New Guinea, and they've formed the Mel Michael Foundation up there to try and raise money to help the next Mel Michael get through.
Well, that's a terrific initiative, and he'll certainly put that AFL game on the map up there, no doubt.
He came through to Queensland to play at Morningside, and Kevin, there is a relationship now between Papua New Guinea and Queensland in junior football.
Terrific to see, yes. In fact, their under-16, under-14s will play in the Queensland Country Championships. This year, the Binnatangs, their under-16 side, in fact, won the Queensland Country Championships, which was fantastic, and young Paul Phillip played in that side. So number 15 played in that side, just a young boy.
Watch out for him, number 15, Paul Phillip, as we approach quarter time here. The 2005 International Cup, New Zealand 2-point leaders as Marsden gets up with a problem as he limps away from the stoppage, but there's a whistle on play. There's still time for PNG to go forward. They have one goal. Clock continues to tick down towards quarter time. It's a low kick, but New Zealand with plenty of numbers taking an easy mark as the siren sounds for quarter time was Jason Everson. New Zealand 1-2. They lead PNG 1 goal straight here at the MCG in the 2005 International Cup.
Yes, we expected a tight game. We certainly have that. Goals hard to come by, but the defences for both teams working overtime. It is quarter time from the MCG. We'll take a break. The New Zealand Falcons leading by 2 points over the Papua New Guinea Mosquitoes. It's quarter time here at the MCG, the Australian Football International Cup final. New Zealand leading by 2 points in a very tight first term. Caleb Stick with a wonderful goal and a wonderful celebration. And the goal kicker for the Papua New Guinea side was Dominic Livawana. And Danks has been very good, as has their skipper Congolton. Isla has had to work very hard in the back half with his fellow defenders in Avertius and Tapen. So New Zealand have worked very hard. I guess, Wayne, a lot of the game's been played off the half-back lines.
It has. There's a fair bit of end-to-end football. I guess the question I'm asking myself, Kevin, all the time is, I know that they're in battle at the moment, but are there players out there that would be just pinching themselves saying, I'm playing football at the AFL, at the AFL cauldron, the MCG?
I think they still are, there's no doubt. I tell you what they're doing, they're putting numbers back behind the footies. There's a bit of rugby about the way both sides go about it. They always drop an extra one back. Makes it very hard to score.
Everson's been very good for New Zealand. Gets it back for his second disposal of the quarter. High ball, Bowden the target. Got to beat 3. Not easy to do. Danks just trying to fish it out. Looking for his teammate in Ferguson. Plenty of players over the ball. Going through was Callaghan, but not going far. Henry to Pend. Works into the open, then heads it wide, but it's all New Zealand here. They can raffle it. This is the goal kicker. Stick. Beautiful kick. Lovely pass. And on the end of it is Todd Danks. Also an all-star. Had a great carnival.
And interesting too, he's got a soccer background. We talk of rugby with most of these guys, but a very good soccer player in his junior days.
Here's Ashton. Well, you mentioned tennis for him. Soccer to tennis, but it's AFL football on the MCG. Oh, Craig Ashton. He missed a set shot on goal in the first quarter, but he was in the right spot at the right time, over the back, and he finished off nicely.
And he's angled it across court, hasn't he? Just
yes.
Watch this very smart kick here, just on the outside of his foot to get the angle needed to get it through, and looked like a real veteran the way he's kicked that. During the week, most of his goals have been from smart leads, courageous marks. That's another dimension to his game. Craig Ashton, well done.
1 goal, 1 beside his name, an early goal for New Zealand. 14, they lead PNG 6. Entertaining game, early stages, second quarter. 2005 International Cup, and they go forward again. Bowden put his body on the line. Got it moving forward. PNG with the numbers. On this occasion, it's Junior Henry. Grubbing kick. Too good for Bowden. Good tackle. Oh, lovely little shimmy there. Got it away to a teammate, and PNG head up towards the wing. Bad bounce. Seeing it over the boundary line there for New Zealand was Jason Pocock, another vice-captain along with Jason Everson. Deputies to the Kiwi captain, Andrew Congolton, who's already got himself a goal this afternoon.
And Pocock's been a good player for them. Big body there at centre half back, a 28-year-old, so quite an experienced player, along with Thomas, a 29-year-old down in defence, have been very, very solid for him throughout the championship.
He's involved again, but this time the ball's come off his boot, out of bounds on the full, and Rex Lecker, the captain for the Mosquitoes, will drive them forward, but only as far as Jeffrey Thomas. He's a very clever young player from the Eastern Blues. Thomas, certainly taking his time. Keeps it low, a little bit too far for Callaghan he was looking for. Henry going back, liked his game so far. That should be a free kick, pushing the back against Danks, it is. A little bit of a scuffle, and Lecker should get back quickly off his mark, and he does. No nonsense there. From West New Britain. He's involved in the 2002 Carnival as well. Going back, trying to mark was Callaghan, but not so successful. Gorey gave it up. The Kiwis moving forward only as far as, well, that player was Dora Gorey here once again. Avertius, and that kick is going out of bounds on the full, and it should be a kick for New Zealand to bring the ball back into play.
And of course, these combatants in PNG in New Zealand meet regularly in the Arafura Games up there in Darwin. Rexy Lecker, the captain of PNG, has been a star at that level for a number of years, so be well known to the people in the Northern Territory.
Still deep in defensive 50, New Zealand. The only score in this second term as we approach the 4-minute mark. High ball towards Bowden. Got a fist on the ball, couldn't take the mark. Ricocheting around a number of players. PNG. Mark Gorey had possession of the ball, but the skipper wins possession. That's Rexy Lecker, as Kevin said. Well known in Darwin. The skipper goes long, inside 50. They need a mark. Flying high there on that occasion was Gibson. Couldn't take it. Stick puts his head down. Putting his body over the ball on that occasion was Guy Ferguson. And the Kiwi defence stands tall. But they only relieve for the moment. It's a mark taken light by Luvana. Couldn't keep the ball inside the boundary. Acrobatic attempt, but is it a mark being paid? I think it might be.
The boundary umpire was standing right behind him. That was out by a good country mile.
Well, give or take a couple of yards. Nonetheless, Desmond Kamu will line up tight angle. Up against the boundary line. Right side for a right foot kick. Starts at left. It'll stay there, wrong side of the post. Not a bad attempt though, but, well, a dubious decision at best, Matty.
Dubious. Let's have a look at the replay. The kick came from Livawana. Look where he's actually knocked the boundary up, almost knocked him over. Oh, look, I know they've come a long way from right around the world for this carnival, Kevin, but that latitude being shown by the boundary umpire was quite ridiculous there. But we're back with the action. Lulobo was hitting it forward. In the way was Everson. Here's a chance. Papua New Guinea to Pend. Stanley trying to get around. Couldn't. Good tackle by Ferguson. Numbers for New Zealand. McNally gets a shepherd also from Morris. McNally heads towards the boundary line. Going back, taking a good mark. Lulobo with courage. Brendan Lulobo from Hoskins. And he's going to drive it inside his forward 50. Big jump over the top, but it's all New Zealand. Thomas and Ferguson. A little bit of indecision between the two. Ferguson went back for a second effort. Stevens is in there, the big man. Going through again, Caleb Stick. McCarley and eventually McNally. So New Zealand's defence working overtime. All players with only eyes for the football, including Yang Mina, trying to release Gibson. Gibson couldn't take it. Also going through there was Penny. Livawana taken further afield, but only standing in the way was Jeffrey Thomas. Play on the call. New Zealand still under pressure. Here's Gibson, spinning, driving it back forward. Not a bad attempt on goal, but it hooks it left. So we'll have a boundary throw in deep inside the Mosquitoes forward line. Just over 8 minutes remaining. New Zealand lead by 7 points.
Great forward pressure. This time, we spoke about it in the first term with New Zealand, but this time it's PNG exerting plenty of pressure on the New Zealand defence. And they're under it again. High ball, clearing the defensive 50 for the moment. And it's the skipper again, Rex Lecker. He's got a 50-metre penalty. And I think it might have been the New Zealand opposing captain.
Captain on captain. Hadn't called play on then yet, Wayne. And, well, that's the short 50 as well. So all sorts of latitude and longitude being taken here. It's a 15-metre penalty.
Just the 25 at 25. This level. I've played on smaller grounds and a bit of leniency there with the 25 rather than the 50.
Can the skipper step up for an inspirational goal? Got a fair bit to say out there on the hollow turf of the MCG. His side trails by 7 points. As we approach the halfway mark of this second term, he goes short, terrific lead, good vision. And he spots out big Edison Gibson. And he'll go back much closer to goal, tight angle, 45-degree angle. And line up for PNG's second goal. And that's, well, it's a lovely bit of work. It'll lead up for this shot at goal.
And Big Averia, a legend in PNG, has been for a long, long time. A wonderful footballer and centre half forward, then into the ruck. His workload's been enormous and he's just kept giving for his team and for his coach all week.
Didn't make the mark. We'll have a rush behind. So PNG 1 goal 2. Gibson with his first score of the afternoon, New Zealand. 2 goals 2-14. The Kiwis bring it back in.
And the kick from Thomas finds Mason. He in turn looking for Dougal Henderson. He's had a couple of good games. That's a beautiful kick from Henderson. He's got Congolton into some space. The Falcons looking to move it quickly into their forward line. Numbers though for New Zealand. Chance now. Ferguson, one step. Bowden waits for it. Has to beat 2. Still in the play though. Bowden, high ball, kicks it. He likes it. He's celebrating already. That's a great goal from James Bowden. He had to beat 2. And he waited for the bounce, finished off nicely. And James Bowden, as we mentioned a couple of times, he is an all-star. He's had a good carnival, and he's a very likely player. And here's the replay. Ferguson driving it long. Bowden just didn't panic, just waited and was first at the footy.
Yeah, had all of those little skills that you need in our game. He just was able to use his body, nudge his opponent out of the way, and then that quickness of movement to grab hold of the ball, and he knew exactly where the goals were. Straight over the shoulder, had no trouble putting it through.
And the kick going into the goal scorer Bowden looked like a high up and under, a little bit of rugby background. They go inside forward 50 again, the Kiwis. Loose ball. PNG with the numbers at the moment, and that was Maha. Good composure. Under pressure in defence. He's got a couple of teammates. Oh, coming through there, putting his body on the line was Ferguson. They go forward again, not enough carry on the ball there. Oh, coming through again was Maha. Liked his play, he's tough and ready. Here he is, the man of the moment, Bowden. He's got one, but he won't get a second. Behind to the right side of the post, and they're doing all the attacking at the moment, the New Zealand Falcons.
And James Bowden's an interesting one. At 22 years of age, he can certainly play the game. You'd love to have seen him at 17 or 18 and had a chance of developing, because he's got some natural flair to play this game. Yeah,
he certainly has. Margin 13 points inside the last 5 minutes. He was in the action again, but this is Isla. Missed a pen. He went back for a second effort. Certainly taking his time. The tackle from Danks has been ruled too high. So Stanley Tapend will take the free kick. Not sure of his options, as you can see.
And Stanley, just a 23-year-old, and I was reading a profile on Stanley. They liken him to a Greg Williams type.
The Diesel.
The Diesel. He does get his head over the footy. He does set it up for his teammates, and certainly was consistent in this championship as Diesel was in his great days.
Yes, and also selected in the All-Star team, and that's a great mark by Danks. So the stars of both teams coming to the fore here. As the game wears on, they're showing their wares and getting more of the football. Danks just chipping through the middle. Loose checking. He's going to get it back here. And so they haven't moved that far down the ground, but Danks is racking up disposals.
Danks from the North Shore Tigers. We mentioned before some of the playing bases, but Auckland's it is the current provincial champion. That's the home of the game over there in New Zealand, and challenged obviously by Wellington and Christchurch in particular at various stages.
Plenty of players in this side from that area. That was Isla getting it clear, but here's a chance for Pocock. There's a whistle on play as McNally was about to break clear. It's going to be a free kick to Gibson from Papua New Guinea. And he will drive the Mosquitoes forward. Numbers for New Zealand though. Big pack forms. In the right spot was made. Front wear, back through the middle. Too much on the kick, and Tapend will mark once again.
Had a bit of the ball in his second term to Penn. Solid body. Not a lot on further afield. Just wants someone to present. The man with number 30 on his back now decides to go short and gets a good lead. Well weighted. That's a good kick. Taking the mark was Paul Phillip.
The 16-year-old.
Yes, he's the one that captained PNG at under 16 level.
Doesn't waste any time. Gets it moving forward. It's a good-looking kick. Will it have the carry? Not on this occasion. Wrapping it up on this occasion was Ryan Spooner. Last line of defence. But there's a whistle on play. And there's a free kick for shepherding against New Zealand. And it will go to PNG.
Wow.
They don't come any easier than that. It must have been there if the umpire said it was.
They're signalling for a shepherd, and so Sione will go back and have a shot and signal when the ball's in the air that Sione didn't have a clear run at the football.
Lining up for his first goal, PNG second. They trail by 13 points as we approach half-time. Does he kick the goal? I think he squeezed it in. Yes, he likes it. PNG get their second. They now go to 14. And they trail the Kiwis by 7 points, and the PNG supporters, well, they're excited. And there you see it. The back of the screen there. New Zealand Falcon player competing on Sione's run to the ball. You can't do that. Good decision and converted Julie.
So gets the margin back a little bit closer. Sione kicked 3 goals against Canada in round 2 and also was very good against Samoa in round 1. So he's had a fine carnival. This is Tip End again. Margin 7 points. He kicks it forward. The man that gave away that free kick a minute ago, Bevan Morris, kicking out wide in front of Henderson with some time. Well, he had some time and then took too much of it because now the Mosquitoes have a chance through Desmond Kumu. And unfortunately, the boundary line has beaten him. And with inside the last minute, we'll have a boundary throw in.
And Desmond Kumu, as you mentioned there, number 2, the 2004 Junior Sportsman of the Year in the PNG. So an outstanding all-round sportsman. Won the Cairns Under-18 Best and Fairest Award that year, and a year later was runner-up in the senior competition.
We look forward to seeing more of him in the carnivals as they progress through the years, I'd say definitely there, Kevin. And here's a chance for Lalobo. Just on 20 seconds remaining. There is time for the Mosquitoes. They have to move it quickly and they have to be good with their skills. Wonderful spoil coming through once again from Pocock. This is Bowden hooking around the body, gets plenty on the kick, and that's an outstanding kick to Bradley. Unfortunately, I think for New Zealand, the time may beat them unless Ashton can get it on the lead. He's dropped the chest mark. Coming through was Nanu. But, well, that was an opportunity gone begging there for their forward, their key forward in Craig Ashton. Dropped the chest mark, but they do lead and they will be pretty pleased about the scoreline at half-time. Again, a low-scoring game here for the final of the Australian Football International Cup. It's New Zealand 3-3 leading the Papua New Guinea Mosquitoes 2-2. The margin 7 points. We'll take a break. Be back with more at the MCG after this. Half-time in the final between New Zealand and Papua New Guinea at the MCG, and the New Zealand Falcons lead by 7 points, 3-3 to 2-2. All single goal kickers so far. Ashton has one, Bowden has one, and also Caleb Stick. And for Papua New Guinea, Livuana and Sione one each. Tapen's been very good for them, and Danks, McCarley and Thomas getting plenty of disposals through the midfield. Should mention they're only 15-minute quarters, so it is low scoring. But there's been some pretty good skill on display, Wayne Schwass, for the New Zealanders. Plenty to like about how they're keeping the ball in the forward 50 and rebounding and off half-back.
Yeah, look, I just consistently, it's refreshing to see how highly skilled these players from both sides are. But I guess more importantly, the Kiwis. Stick got the opening goal off halfback. He's been very good. Bowden, the blonde-headed New Zealand version of Jason Ackermanis, has also been quite good. Todd Danks actually missed the first game because he was late to a meeting. Went out and bought the bright red boots. They look to have had an effect. He's been quite good. And the skipper, Kim Dalton's been terrific as well. And for the Papua New Guinea side, Kevin, a lot of their all-stars shining.
Yes, certainly the two veterans have been terrific in Averia Gibson and Rexy Lecker there in that second quarter. The two veterans lifted. Stanley Tapend, as you mentioned, in the centre, the Diesel Williams type. He's got poise, clean with his hands, and really set up many of their forward moves. I've liked the duel between Bowden, who you mentioned, Scott, has been pretty important, but Junior Henry's doing a great job on him. He's aggressive, he runs very hard, and that's a terrific duel down there across half-back.
And he gives away a little bit of height, doesn't he? But he's certainly got the attitude to keep things going. Well, let's head back to the MCG now, and we look forward to the second half getting underway. The lights are on. It is a pretty dark day, but we're set for this second half. New Zealand Falcons leading by 7 points, just a half away from winning the 2005 Australian Football International Cup. And Doragori once again in the ruck with McLennan. And this is going through as Junior Henry once again. The ball spills out. A chance for Avertius. He's worked pretty well with Henry so far. Isla, a good first half. Taking his time, but getting through now. Doragori kicking forward. There's a whistle on play. And the free kick is going all the way back. And it's going to be, the umpires just, the players aren't really sure, but eventually it's Doragori who takes the free kick. He's got to leap this man, and he's 60 metres out, and he heads long towards the goal square. 3-on-1 though for New Zealand. And going back and taking a very good mark back there. I think that player is McNally, and he just pops it shorter over to Jason Everson, who's been good in the first half.
One of New Zealand's two vice-captains, along with Jason Pocock. Nice little left foot boot. Finds a loose teammate in Thomas. It's working along the boundary line, the New Zealand Falcons, and that kick was to no one in particular, but well, they were fortunate on that occasion. Standing his ground there was Ferguson. They move it forward ever so slowly, but there's a whistle on play. And it looks as though that was for a trip.
And Jeff Pearson giving that. He's the USA umpire, so terrific to see him over here. Obviously working on wanting to be the best he can be at the umpiring level, and I know that Adrian Panozzo, who's in charge of the umpiring development, has spent some time in the US educating these guys, getting through their level 1 and level 2 accreditation umpiring courses.
Ferguson switches the play. It's a good one across half back. Still deep in defensive 50, the New Zealand Falcons. They go out wide to the great southern side of the ground, and that's Caleb Stick. Couldn't take the mark, wants the free kick, not forthcoming, pleads with it. Probably thinks he deserves it, but you're not going to get it, son. I'll have a throw in. Left forward pocket for PNG. They trail by 7 points. Early stages, third term. International Cup for 2005. Coming through there was Doragori. Couldn't take possession. Both sides working hard. In there was Henderson for the Falcons, as is Danks standing over the pack, and we'll have a bounce. 30 from goal for PNG. Doragori down to Ferguson for New Zealand. A lot of players around the ball, and Ferguson wins himself a free kick. Seven points the margin. Third term. Ferguson heads straight up the middle. Dangerous kick, but up to that on that occasion was Alex Fakatumafia. A big boy, only 18 years of age, and he is a big unit. A kick towards Marsden, one-handed attempt, couldn't take it, but got support there from Everson. They go forward. This time, number 1, McCarley. This is better play. Marsden gets it back and bangs it onto the left boot. High ball inside 50. Running with the flight of the ball was Frogart. Couldn't take the mark. PNG defence standing up well. Strong. Last line of defence. Putting his body over the line there was number 25-29, Rickard Penny. Well, a lot of pressure there from the Falcons. Did well there, Penny. Kick smothered. Loose ball. Danks. Dangerous in this situation. Around the corner. Good kick, finds Bowden, plays on quickly and bangs it through for the first in the third.
Well, he is a will-o'-the-wisp, isn't he? He can find space, he does read it well off boots, it's in the right spots at the right time, and that's what smart medium-sized forwards can do. And James Bowden just bobbed up again, the youngster from the 20 back from the Blues, has kicked it in important goal after some pretty tight pressured play, and it's the second one over the shoulder, so he knows where they are.
And it was good play by Danks. He just knocked it out to Ashton to get that kick on, so they were keeping it alive inside their forward 50. But it's the second goal of the game that has resulted in pressure being applied from their forwards on the Papua New Guinea defenders. And that, when you look at the margin being 13 points, that is why they're in front at the moment. They're not giving up on the contest up forward. Here's a chance for Maha, kicking it long, but only as far as Bevan Morris standing in the way for New Zealand. Morris gets plenty of distance on the kick, wants Bowden as the target, right with him Junior Henry. Bowden, second attempt. Danks, liked his game. Handball out in front. Morris had run on. Here's the kicker, kicked it long. Here's a good chance now for Froggatt. So some big players, the changes for New Zealand. Froggatt now at centre half forward. Wants to move it quickly. Ashton normally the target here, but this time it's Bradley. And big Richard Bradley takes the mark, and this is a very important time for New Zealand here. They've come out after half-time. They're moving the ball quickly. They're using their tall players, and it's a worrying time for the Papua New Guinea Mosquitoes.
Yeah, and a couple of terrific contested marks. Steve Froggatt started on the bench, but Jim Lucy and Rob Bandstand, who are the joint coaches for NZ, had the luxury of being able to throw him on. Froggatt, a very experienced player, and Bradley, that's the sort of stuff we've seen throughout this championship. Can take a contested mark, and that was an important one. 35
metres out directly in front. It's head. Oh, it's hit the post. Umpire was heading way to his right, but the kick to Bradley's left hits the post, and so 4-4 New Zealand, Papua New Guinea 2-2. They've doubled their score. In the next 4 or 5 minutes, Wayne, this is going to be very important for the Mosquitoes.
Yes, they've just broken down across the half-forward line there, but they're certainly an energetic side with plenty of run, not afraid to throw their bodies in. They can just get a goal or two as we head towards three-quarter time. It'll give them a lot of confidence going into the last quarter. Well, they're still camped in defence. Good composure shown there by Acker. Heads long towards the wing. New Zealand with the numbers. And Jason Everson takes an easy chest mark. The vice-captain, short. He's got plenty of numbers. Danks, well, he's been lively. Just to get onto that right boot. Tumbles a wobbly kick towards the goal. That's a good mark. That's a great mark by number 25, Nanu.
Nanu we've seen actually play some amateur football down here in Melbourne with the University Blues, and had a very, very consistent week, and one of the 4 PNG guys to make the All-Star side.
Playing at fullback at the moment. This is Alistair Sione, another All-Star, but as Wayne said, they're finding it hard to go into their forward 50. They'll need O'Vera Gibson to start taking marks, and he does. A little bit of a nudge not picked up by the umpire. The veteran now. Eyes darting once again. Short pass. Oh, just slipping there. And coming through McLennan with a double fist over the line. And so it'll be a boundary throw-in with 8 minutes remaining. 14-point margin. So we see the player just was just in the way, and McLennan did well. Just played the percentages, wanted the boundary line. He's in the ruck again, and he's got to beat Gibson, who wanted Stanley to pen, went to ground. Players over the ball. Thomas did well. Got it to stick. Eventually it heads out to Danks on the left boot, throws it forward. Out comes Froggatt once again, just trying to knock it forward. Bowden was in the right spot, throws it on the boot quickly. One-on-one situation. Just not getting the right touch on the ball there was Ashton. David Guevara Nanu goes back, but he's in trouble here. He's in big trouble. The umpire gave him plenty of latitude, as though it was 2-on-1 situation. Bradley came in to help out Ashton, and he was given the benefit of the doubt, but New Zealand attacking once again. Froggatt went high, and the tackle was high on him, so he'll get the free kick deep inside the forward pocket. A tough kick here for Steve Froggatt. And started well in his third term since coming off the bench. He's just weighing up his options about laying it off. He doesn't want to have a shot at goal. Go back and kick the goal, son. Back yourself in. It's a tough kick. The distance won't be a problem, though. Here he goes. Has he been listening? Steve Froggatt opens up the angle a little bit. Not bad off the boot. It's just sliding off to the right, just to behind. New Zealand stretched their lead to a 15-point margin with 6.5 minutes remaining in this third term, as it's getting darker here for the Saturday night game between Carlton and Collingwood. The International Cup final. They're enjoying playing on the MCG.
They certainly are. 15 points the margin in favour of the New Zealand Falcons. PNG, they've got it all before them. And that's a nice mark. Outer side of the ground. Problem with his right ankle by the look of that. Desmond Kamu. Good to see him up. Just the laying off by the look of that. Oh, he's darting everywhere. Goes short. He's got a loose player outer side of the ground, and that's Francis Novis. Gives it off a handball to Illa. His father, Trevor, coaching the side. Coming through there was Congolton, the New Zealand captain. Oh, did well there on that occasion was Yangamina. Put his body on the line. Here go PNG, the Mosquitoes. Good run through the middle of the ground. Decides to have a bounce now. Bowden, a lunging tackle, forced the turnover. Marsden slapped the ball forward, still inside the centre square. It's willing now. Ferguson, high ball, inside forward 50, with courage there on that occasion was Lelubo. And relieving for the moment was Lovano.
He heads wide, and he's got two players to pick from, and one of them is Paul Phillip, the youngster, takes the mark, wants to move it quickly, but he's run down. Now the whistle on play, holding the ball, free kick to New Zealand. Congolton will take it. Phillip just a little bit slow to get rid of. I thought he's a bit unlucky. I thought Congolton came in from the side, but never mind. It's Bradley now for New Zealand. Inside the last 5 minutes, Richard Bradley from the Eastern Blues has been a very good player in this carnival. Just pulls the kick a little bit, wants someone to run onto it. Henry didn't take it, neither did Ashton. Here's Danks looking dangerous. Slipped it over to McCarley. McCarley throws it on the boot. Over to Frogart. Frogart kicks the goal. No, Frogart has run through the line. It's one behind. He didn't complete the kick before he was over the line, so he actually had possession and he ran it through, and that's one that he'll learn from, following right through with the kick.
It's probably maybe a lack of knowledge of the rule there. Yeah. He felt that his anchor leg was inside the line and probably felt he'd done the right thing, but the umpire in correct position has made the right call.
He had to finish the kick before he popped it through, so a life for the Papua New Guinea side. Now, can they make something from it? Livawana gets it over to Junior Henry, stretches play to the outer side, the switch is on. Again, Phillip is target, with him Avertius. Phillip back through the middle to Penn there. But no, marking well, Marcus Jones for New Zealand.
Good mark inside the centre square from Mount Roskill Saints in Auckland. Stronger of the competitions in New Zealand. Heads out towards that man of the moment, Frogart. Gives it back to where it once came from. Short kick. PNG with the numbers, though, on this occasion. It's Yangamina. Heads up the line. That's a good kick, but there's too much carry on it. It's a foot race. Maha with some space and some pace. The little man, can he keep it alive? He does. He's working against some numbers. He did well. Terrific play. Kept it alive for a teammate. In there on that occasion was Sione. Bouncing ball. Too much carry on it for Kumana. Still alive inside forward 50. Whoa, with some courage there and some strength. Here he is. Whakatumai'a coming through off half back. Only as far as Tapen. Is this PNG's first goal for the third term? It certainly is. They're alive. 10 points the margin at the MCG in the 2005 International Cup.
And Stanley Tappan, he's an inspiration, isn't he? He just keeps his feet at all times. He's skillful on both sides of the body. They're on the left foot on this occasion, and he slipped it through. He has had a wonderful sixth game. He's gone back to back to back to back and onwards. He has really been a terrific player for PNG and has got them right back in it here.
Oh, he's just been superb, hasn't he? That was a great goal. Just running on to the error, and he's got the margin back to 10 points, Stanley Tapen. 4-6 plays 3-2. Deep into the third term. Gibson getting out. There's the man of the moment again. Tapen going forward. Marsden, the first one back. 3 players to pick from there. Thomas reading it well for New Zealand. Heads to the wing. This is Jones. New Zealand coaches using the bench well in this third term. Trying to share the workload. McCarley weighing up his options. Bowden has been good. He's kicked 2 goals. Ashton or Bradley, the other targets. McCarley kicks into the man of the mark. Not a good finish. Jones once again smothered off the hands. Coming through Junior Henry. Back to Livawana. Livawana now with a player further ahead. Penny goes back through the middle. Is it dangerous? It is, because Thomas is standing in the way. Jeffrey Thomas now. It's been good. Likes to just kick it short, or this time goes to the hands. Stick. Kicked a very long goal. A beauty in the first term. Once Bowden couldn't, yes. Play on. He did pay the mark. Bowden around the body. Not a bad shot on goal. It is his third. No, it's just to the right-hand side to behind. He's the danger man up forward for New Zealand at the moment, James Bowden. And he gets it behind, 4-7 to 3-2. Martin now.
Late stages, third term. PNG desperate for a goal as we approach the three-quarter time siren. Short ball, dangerous kick. Reading it well, though, on that occasion was Thomas. He goes back with under a minute left, third term, to extend the margin out to 17 points.
And Jeff Thomas has had a terrific game and a good series as well, playing mostly across half-back. He's pushed up at this occasion here now. His courage in the air has been terrific for a lightly built bloke.
35 metres out, slight angle. Thomas for his first for the evening. It's a good-looking kick. The Kiwis extend the margin now out to 17 points.
And that's a pretty big margin, really, as we draw to the close of the third quarter. In these 15-minute quarters, it's a pretty big margin. So PNG will need to muster their forces at three-quarter time and have one last assault, because that's a pretty handy break that New Zealand's opened up.
Certainly a timely goal for Thomas. He was only 40 metres out, but he finished it through, and we're just about at three-quarter time. It's going to be very hard for, and there it is. There is the siren. So they led by 7 points at half-time, and that very timely goal by Thomas has given them a real edge at three-quarter time. The challenge is ahead for Papua New Guinea. At three-quarter time, it's New Zealand 5-7, 3-7, 37. They lead by 17 points. The Papua New Guinea Mosquitoes 3-2, 20. We'll return to the MCG after this break to find out who wins the 2005 Australian Football International Cup. Three-quarter time at the MCG. New Zealand with a very handy 17-point lead. They lead 5-7 to 3-2. Bowden has been very good for them up forward. Has kicked 2 singles for everybody else on the ground. Danks is getting plenty of possession with 15 disposals ahead of Thomas with 13. And we mentioned Stanley Tapend, who's been very good through the middle for Papua New Guinea with 13 ahead of O'Vera Gibson and Joseph Isla with 8 disposals. It is going to be very hard for the Mosquitoes to peg back this 17-point lead. Only 1 quarter remains in this International Cup, and here it is. Will New Zealand hang on and win, or will this be a magnificent comeback from Papua New Guinea? They must get away early to a good start, and they may get a free kick, and they do. It's Francis Navis who's going to take the first kick for the final quarter. Inside their forward 50, 3-on-2. Over the top came Sione. Going through Maha, couldn't get it. Gibson on hands and knees, just flicking it out, trying to keep it alive. Isaac has got it. Kicking high. New Zealand players get underneath it. Ball spills. Maha coming through. Pocock just trying to defend towards the boundary. Once again, Isaac in and under. Just goes to ground. But the ball, now that was a good decision by the boundary umpire. The whole ball must be over the line for it to be out, not half of the ball. And the umpire was in the spot-on position there. So he kept on playing, and we'll have a ball up inside the forward 50 for the Mosquitoes. The clock will be their enemy in this last term. At it hard, both teams. Jones for New Zealand. Got a call out wider from Allison. Just trying to keep it going forward. They do so. Coming up to meet it, Danks has been an excellent player for New Zealand. Leading disposal winner on the ground. Sharing it wide back to Jones. Oh, he missed with the 1-2. Danks has enough time to throw it on the boot though. Standing and waiting and doing it all is Joseph Isla for Papua New Guinea.
He's been impressive, Kevin. He's small in stature, but he certainly played well this evening. Heads up towards the wing. Bowden's there, as is Penny. Loose ball. Putting his body on the line was Jones. Couldn't get a hand to it, though. It's a nice little handball. Comes out to Lecker, the captain. This is better from PNG. Gets it back to skipper. Now goes long towards half forward. New Zealand with the numbers, but flying high. That's a terrific mark taken by Sione. Third in line, put the big dukes up, and on the second attempt, terrific mark. Now goes long, inside, forward 50, and there's another terrific contested mark. And on this occasion, well, you talk about one of the legends. Let's talk a little bit about O'Vera Gibson.
Yeah, well, we've mentioned all night and we've seen it all week. Just his competitiveness is terrific and so athletic. For 34 years of age, he just finds that spring, and this is a mark. He plays in front, presents himself in front against some strong-bodied opposition as well, and that's a terrific mark for his side. So it's both a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new.
And more importantly, he converts. PNG teammates run to the goal scorer in O'Vera Gibson. They're not done with yet. The margin now back to 11 points, early stages, fourth quarter.
So it was a combination of the youngster in Sione that took the first competitive mark, and then it's down to Gibson to take the second one. So both the 20-year-old and the 34-year-old have combined to get PNG right back in it.
Terrific work. They've got the first goal of the term, which they needed. Only 3 minutes have been wiped off the clock, and they get the margin back to 11 points. Here's Gibson doing it in the middle as well, but it was won by McLennan. But the Mosquitoes heading forward. Good mark by Phillip. He's outside his 50. Bevan Morris tackled him after the mark, but he's been given the benefit of the doubt. Morris, he thought he'd played on. Phillip, the 16-year-old, got close to the man of the mark, kicks it high. Up forward again, it was Sione, but taking a strong mark. Whakatumafia, who came on at half-time, and he is a big lad.
Only 18 years of age. He's
and a Tongan background. Yeah, just played the game for just 7 months, in fact, and one of the very promising players that obviously could play either rugby or AFL should he wish.
Here's a chance for Thomas. Umpires picked out a free kick. It will go to New Zealand. Lead by 11 points. Jones takes it. Short. And Thomas had just pinched a few metres and run up the boundary line. Both teams coming into this final undefeated. Ireland were favourites to defend their title, but it hasn't been. New Zealand have been terrific. And at the moment, they're 11 points in front, and they're only just under 11 minutes away from the title. Bowden hooks towards the true centre-half forward position. Wants big frog art and got him. Great mark. Has a running player. Getting into trouble again was Jones. Here, Stanley to Penn. Needs to pick it up. Needs to be clean below the knees. He is on the second occasion. Getting it out wide. A chance for Narvis. Narvis kicking it high, but it's all New Zealand here. Going back, but missing it though was Morris. Whakatumafia came through. He may get a second chance at it. He tucks it under his arm and away he goes. Whakatumafia kicks it long. But standing in the way is Yangamina for Papua New Guinea.
Oh, Matty's got a new boy, the big man in the number 28 jumper for New Zealand, but more importantly, PNG. It's the last roll of the dice. They're keeping it alive.
Here's a chance.
Ball number 20, Sione. 2 hands go up in the air, signalling a goal. He gets the reply from the goal umpire. But more importantly, PNG are well and truly alive in this fourth term, and Sione gets the congratulatory hugs from his teammates.
And a terrific opportunist goal this time. Earlier we'd seen him take the contested mark. Now it's the opportunist stuff from Sione. He's the guy that had the 5 months with the Brisbane Lions a couple of years ago, and he benefited from that experience. He may well be the match winner as he kicks an important one. They're right back in it within a goal.
What's good about that, though, is the understanding of not to fly. There was a pack. He weighted down, did the crumbing roll there, and it was a smart passage of play.
2 goals to Sione. The Mosquitoes are buzzing. They're on fire here at the MCG. They're back to 5 points, and they've got their tails up. They've got the footy once again. Isla got it over to Penn. His kick sliding off the side of the boot. Coming out, Livawana kicked the first goal, but knocking it forward there was Evertius. And Livawana, Verdius I should say, but it was Everson going back, and Everson is just finding the boundary for New Zealand, and they'll be able to set up for a stoppage. Margin 5 points.
And Stanley Tapend, he's been marvellous, hasn't he? He's gone the whole game. His clearance work's been sensational.
They're coming back at New Zealand now, Papua New Guinea. Gibson has got to beat McLennan. The height wins out. Isla going back. Verdius once again. High ball. Jones reaches over the top. The spoil on Lecker. Did well. Bradley, the shepherd, over the top of McNally. Gunning. Here's Thomas. Worked hard. Through the gap. Did it well. Just got it forward for New Zealand. Here's a chance, though, for Papua New Guinea. Numbers went out. Little handball. Gave over the top to Danks. Danks. Short pass. Bowden in the right spot. Going back, Henry. Free kick, Bowden for holding. Well, he's kicked 2 goals. And this could be almost a goal against the runner play at the moment for New Zealand to give them some breathing space inside the last 8 minutes.
Well, I don't think Bowden was too happy with Junior Henry's. Yep, there you go. Just
wasn't a hole,
him
though,
know.
Not a lot much in it.
Not much in it.
So.
Yeah.
Junior's not too happy about it either.
It's enough to age Junior, turn him into a senior. This is Bowden for goal number 3. One of the All-Stars, 45 metres out, right to the line, and what not to beat. Is that a mark to Froggatt? Oh, they're appealing for it, and the umpire's saying that more than one player had their hand on it. Won't be a mark. He's going to throw it up right in the goal square. What can New Zealand do here? Will there be a rush behind from the Mosquitoes? Not to be. Ashton paddling along, keeping it alive, hooking back. Not 15, surely. Maha back into the danger zone. Here's Bowden standing there all on his own. Receives the gift from Maha. Sends it back over his head for goal number 3. Oh dear, that's a mistake that could prove costly for the Mosquitoes. James Bowden kicks his 3rd. New Zealand get it out again to 11-point margin, and he wants them to settle. Here's the replay. Maha, not 15, told to play on. I think he was trying to hook it back a bit further. It slewed up the side a little bit. Bowden kicking the goal. Salutes with his arms in the air. He's given them a short break.
Yes, and some credit to Craig Ashton that kept it in play too. He was the one that centred it, and then that pressured kick come away from Junior Henry, and clean hands from Bowden. Got in the right spot, but his clean hands and a great finish. Gives him his 3rd.
Stanley to Penn doing his bit. Gets the ball moving forward. Good contest. Arriving late there on that occasion was Narvis. We'll have a bounce. 60 metres from goal for PNG. They now trail by 11 points. Just a touch over 6 minutes left of the 4th quarter. Umpire gets it underway. Arriving late there for New Zealand was McLennan. High ball now. Courage needed. That's a strong mark in front taken by Bradley. Gives it off to Congolton, the skipper. Heads up towards Froggatt. He's outnumbered 2-1. PNG working well there. And winning himself the free kick was Rickard Penny. They've got to move the ball forward quickly, PNG. 2 straight kicks would win them the game, providing New Zealand didn't score again. But in a low-scoring affair, you'd think that'll be quite an ask. High ball, outer side of the ground. Paul Phillip, can he keep it in? No, lost possession. The Falcons working hard. Good tackle there on Isla. Ball spills free, and we'll have a throw in outer side of the ground in front of the Great Southern stand.
Have the Falcons been stung into action here? 11 points is the margin. 2 goals needed for Papua New Guinea. 5 minutes remain. Big McLennan. He's been very good. He's dominating the ruck, but Gibson wins this one. Everson was there for the Kiwis. Fakatu Mafia with strength again. And he's got it again. Why wasn't it on the start of the game? Kicks it long. Oh, Froggatt. It's been a brilliant decision by the coaching panel at half-time. They've made all the right moves. This is big Froggatt heading to the goal square. Ashton one-on-one. Has he got it? Yes, he has. Ahead of David Guevara Nanu. And Ashton has the shot on goal. He kicked the goal in the second term.
They were 2 fantastic kicks.
Weren't they? Long and direct.
From half-back flank, 1 kick from Fakatu Mafia, and then another one there from the New Zealand player to set up this goal opportunity.
It came from Froggatt. It went to Ashton, and that's going to make it very difficult for the Mosquitoes. Ashton has kicked another goal. That's his 2nd, coming off 4 in the semi-final. And now the margin back out to that 17 points, which it was at 3/4 time. New Zealand have answered. It's going to be tougher here for Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, and Craig Ashton's had a wonderful set of 6 games. Made the All-Star side, has kicked now 12 goals for the championships. As I say, plays in front, not a lot of him, but he has got courage and normally got very, very clean hands and a good finisher.
17-point ball game. Late stages, 4th quarter. McLennan with a good tap, but there's that man to Penn. He's been terrific tonight. High ball. Wow. Matty's boy, Fakatu Mafia, that's a strong mark. 18 years of age. He is a big man. Is he the next Ty Kennelly? Who knows? He's bereft of options. Goes short. He's got a loose player. Jones dropped what he should have taken. But there's a 25-metre penalty. Oh, it's a very generous 25-metre penalty too. Much to the disgust of to Pend. Big Alex goes long towards half forward. Now getting in there, reading the play there well was Isla. Followed up some good work, heads out wide. Good spoil there from New Zealand was Mason. Goes back, has Everson, gets it back Mason, heads up the line, nice play. Out of sight of the ground, the captain, Galton. Off his step, he's got a loose player. Oh, good spoil there coming through was the skipper for PNG, Lecker. Gets it back. He did well, evade the tackle, Rex. Now goes down the line. Oh, getting in front there, reading that well was McLennan. Out of bounds, a throw-in, out of sight of the ground. New Zealand up by 17 points. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining, fourth term. International Cup 2005 at the MCG.
Time is the enemy now for the Mosquitoes. We've just on 2.25 minutes remaining. They've got to kick 3 goals, so they've got to do everything possible right. And it starts here. Isaac getting it forward. Over the top. They're still moving forward, Papua New Guinea, but not to be here. Getting in the way is Pocock, and he's got some confidence. How's the kick? It's almost to Jones on the bounce. Well, some confidence there late in the game. Jones from his defensive 50 wants Bowden, with him Henry. Chance now for Big Bradley into the forward line. Here's Ashton, got rid of Nanu. Ashton trying to double back, but he's got to beat a couple. They're taking their time here, Papua New Guinea, and the rush behind, and that's going to make it almost impossible now for the Mosquitoes. Down to 1.5 minutes, and it's 7-8 for New Zealand to 5-2. 15 scoring shots to 7. They've been a better team on the night. But just for 3 or 4 minutes in this opening of this last quarter, the Papua New Guinea side threw everything at them, got to the win 5 points. As Gavara Nanu, David Gavara Nanu kicks it long. In the way is Gunning. Doragori over the top, started the game in the ruck. Back. Tom, here's a chance, Isaac, Anaga Isaac just tumbles it forward, but it's only as far as Scott McNally, and he'll certainly take his time. And it looks like, Wayne, that New Zealand will take out the 2005 Cup.
Yes, it's a victory for the Kiwis by the look of this. PNG, they've been to the world twice. They'll be disappointed with this result. They won't get to taste the sweet taste of victory tonight. It'll be the Kiwis' turn, and they have been impressive, and I guess it's a culmination of a very impressive couple of weeks, Kevin.
Oh, great for the New Zealanders. They've worked hard for 10 months for this. And Rob Malone, who's the general manager of AFL NZ, to be very, very proud of this achievement. He's a guy that played footy at Claremont, drafted across to St Kilda, number 12 in the draft in 1991. Has taken up the challenge of developing the game over in New Zealand, has now got numbers on the ground playing the game, something like 15,000 playing the game, having a kick of the footy over that way. And he wanted his key side to show this sort of form and really put footy on a big stage. He's done that.
And New Zealand have won the Australian Football International Cup for 2005. They are celebrating. As you can see, some of the Papua New Guinea players are absolutely spent, and they are desperately disappointed at having, as Wayne said, got to the final for 2 times and now coming away with another loss. But what a performance by New Zealand. Undefeated for this carnival. They've gone on to win. They were too good. And the margin in the end was 3 straight goals. And I think they just had too many options. They had a bigger side. They had some forwards to kick to and some pretty clever players who didn't waste the footy down back.
Look, I was impressed from the skill level of both sides, but I guess more importantly, as you said, Matty, they had a little bit too much height. There was a bit more distance on their kicks. But look, I think importantly, this really puts the brand and the game of AFL football, I guess, Kevin, on the map in not only Ireland and a couple of other countries, but more importantly, places like PNG and New Zealand and you know, South Africa and the likes of those sides. The game is growing, and this is just a culmination and the motivation for other international sides to come along and be a part of this competition.
Oh, Wayne, no doubt. This match was just part of what had been a wonderful 10 days of championships. The dinner the other night was 600 people there. Enormous energy. There's certainly going to be some players coming future years out of these countries.
Just confirming the final score. New Zealand 7 goals, 850, have defeated Papua New Guinea 5 goals, 232. Bowden kicked 3. Ashton also got 2 for New Zealand. Sione picked up 2, and then individual goal kickers for the Mosquitoes after that. Danks, the leading possession winner for the New Zealand team, and Tapend, both getting 18 disposals, leading for Papua New Guinea. A terrific performance by New Zealand. They will certainly celebrate, but let's head now down for the official presentation with the voice of AFL football here in Australia, Mr. Craig Willis.
I'd now like to call upon Andrew Congleton, the captain of New Zealand, and their coach, Jim Lucy, to receive the trophy.
First, thanks very much to Rex and his boys. You guys had a gallant effort out there, and you pushed us all the way. Secondly, thanks very much to our coaches. We wouldn't be anywhere near this stage if it wasn't for Rob and Jim. All our sports staff, Jenny. Well done, boys. We played as a team. That's what got us through the tournament. Hope you enjoy it. And thank you very much to all the teams that participated. It's been an awesome event. And I hope to see everyone back here in 3 years. Thank you.
Well done, Andrew. Congratulations to you and the team representing New Zealand as our champions in 2005. Again, commiserations to the team representing Papua New Guinea. It's a big night here at the MCG. Collingwood Carlton doing battle shortly. But fellas are going to invite you to do a lap of honour of the great ground to celebrate your win. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll perhaps see New Zealand back here to defend their title in 2008.
Yes, thank you, Craig. A wonderful performance by New Zealand to win by that margin again of 18 points. Undefeated right throughout the carnival. Certainly the best team in the carnival. And you'd have to say, gentlemen, well coached. Even in the last minute, they were running the clock down. A lot of preparation has gone into the way they go about the carnival, but just about the way they play AFL footy.
Well, I think definitely they've grasped the contest, the competition in the game itself. They have a really good understanding of the rules and all the things that are associated with that. But importantly, I think, Kevin, and you touched on it, they've got some terrific people in charge over there at New Zealand, as have a number of these other international countries.
Oh, yes, and the coaches, Jim Lucy, Rob Van Stam, well done to them. But also to mention a couple of others from other countries. Troy Beard from Japan has done a wonderful job in getting football entrenched into the university system over there. From South Africa, Steve Harrison played some amateur football here in Melbourne, did a wonderful job in the last 18 months. Jeff Callow from Spain, a lawyer from Perth that has gone there and done a great job in getting Spain up and running. And Matty Connell, of course, the former premiership player and
at the
Adelaide Crows, West Coast Eagles, was the coach of Great Britain. So great to see people like that contributing to the game in international markets. Summing
up, Wayne, a good performance and a lot to like about the way New Zealand played. And if they continue that improvement, they'll be very hard to beat in 2008.
I would certainly think so. I think looking further down the track, and I know that I have a biased opinion on this, but I would love to see a Ty Kennelly story emerge from perhaps a New Zealand or a PNG possibly. It's about an opportunity, and I think that there's some terrific initiatives that the AFL themselves are starting to implement around the country, but more importantly around the globe.
Yes, they've actually come up with a concept of an apprenticeship list which would lower the age so that there's some encouragement for the AFL clubs to look at places around the world and get a 16 or a 17-year-old into this country to be fine-tuned on all aspects of the game. So that's the change that's occurred just in the last number of months to open up opportunities for youngsters.
Kevin, thank you very much for your help once again. 10 countries
pleasure
to look at and you're right across it as usual.
Absolutely loved it, Matty.
And Wayne, you're pretty happy because the New Zealanders have won.
We'll take the win, Matty.
We'll look forward to seeing you throughout the final series on Thursday nights with the boys on league teams.
Thank you very much.
Well, on behalf of Kevin Shear and Wayne Schross, I'm Matthew Campbell. I hope you've enjoyed our Fox Footy presentation of the 2005 Australian Football International Cup. Congratulations once again to New Zealand. They've defeated Papua New Guinea in the final by 18 points. Bye for now.